Further in depth now with our friend Irene Garcia, investigative reporter from Judicial Watch, Skyping in this morning from Coral Gables, Florida. Irene, it's good to have you here. Tell us what brought about the lawsuit, and have you discovered anything as of yet?
Thank you for having me. Well, the lawsuit was brought about because the administration simply is not revealing information that should be public record about this outrageous humanitarian exemption that they're making to illegal immigration. They're allowed to do this. The Department of Homeland Security can create exemptions under humanitarian purposes, and that's why the administration early on, the president himself said this is a humanitarian crisis for that reason, to kind of set the path to make this exemption for these tens of thousands of illegal immigrants. There was backdoor deals, there's no doubt about that, between the administration and the governments of some of these Central American countries. We've discovered that in the course of our work, and now we want the official records that can prove that.
Irene, the request for a bid asked for a contractor to provide unarmed escort staff, including management, supervision, manpower, training, certifications, licenses, drug testing, equipment, and supplies necessary to provide on-demand escort services for non-criminal, non-delinquent, unaccompanied alien children ages infant to 17 years of age, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Do you think this request proves the government anticipated the deluge of illegal children coming in, or was making arrangements for it to happen?
Possibly, and that's what we're trying to find out. Once we get the specifics and the dates, that will reveal more, and that's the reason for the need to have this information made public. Taxpayers, after all, are the ones financing this. And we have a lot of Border Patrol officials that have told us off the record and have given us inside information on how they're having these federal officers that this is not part of their job do some of these, have some of these duties, forced to do some of the babysitting of the children, caretaking, and what we want to do is get to the bottom of what is going on and get more details. So yes, definitely it could indicate that this was premeditated and it was pre-planned behind the backs of the American people.
Irene, of course, there is a great deal of suspicion that the president is preparing a post-election amnesty plan that would clear a path for citizenship for millions of illegals. Meantime, his immigration czar on Tuesday said that the border is bracing for another surge, yet another surge of undocumented, unaccompanied juveniles, raising this year's wave crossing the southern border to over 130,000. Have you seen added requests for escorts for this expected second influx of illegal kids?
We have not seen that officially, but our sources on the ground in Texas and in Arizona that have given us some good behind-the-scenes information tell us that yes, that seems to be what's going on, that the administration, that the government of this country as a whole is preparing for more. And that is alarming in itself, considering what has already come, the influx that already has taken place. We just simply cannot accommodate these children. I mean, school systems, public school systems in this country are taking a huge hit with this, and we have health issues, and this is just growing out of control.
So Irene, are you expecting to uncover more, let's just say, explosive information in the days and weeks ahead?
Yes, we are expecting that. We have, Judicial Watch has an office in Arizona. We have sources on the ground in Texas and in the very hot border area. And we do expect to uncover what the mainstream media in this country is not uncovering, or at least revealing to the general public, and what the administration is working hard to keep from the public, because the Department of Homeland Security, every time we've contacted them, has blown us off, has refused to get back to us. And the mainstream media, their message to the mainstream media is no comment. So something's going on, and they're keeping it from the public, and Judicial Watch is going to get to the bottom of it one way or another.
Irene, on a related story, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you were the reporter who broke the news about these, quote, children, not necessarily being children, any number of illegal juveniles, young men, toward the upper limit of that demographic group who had gang affiliations. Have you found out more in the intervening days from back when we first saw this influx of illegal juveniles across the border earlier this summer?
Yes, I mean, yes, I did break that story. We have Border Patrol sources that told us they were assigned to take care. There was in Arizona, there was a shelter that was taking care of the older quote unquote kids, and they said these are not little kids. These are older kids. Some of them are 17. They could even be 18. They had no way to prove the age of these kids, but these Border Patrol agents were telling us physically they were men. They were physically big, imposing figures, and that they had gang affiliations, that there was no doubt about that, and that they were using the Red Cross phones provided by the Red Cross to call family members to make contact with the various gangs that were recruiting them or that had contact with them when they were back in Central America. So this is outrageous. This is a story that Judicial Watch broke based on some very reliable sources on the ground, deeply involved firsthand knowledge of this information.
About a minute remains, and I want to continue on that line of questioning or that theme. We now know that TSA allowed several illegals to fly across and around our country without IDs. Have some of those gang members, to your knowledge, been placed on those flights, sent far away from the southern border, ostensibly to renew their affiliation with gangs in the United States?
Well, yes, they were redeploying these unaccompanied minors all over the country, and yes, some of the older ones with the tattoos that were symbolic or indicative of their affiliation with these gangs, have been redeployed to different parts of the country, and they were allowed. And we have sources, TSA sources, that told us they were being allowed because they have no identification. They were being allowed to forego security. And well, not security. They went through the scanners, but they had no identification, and boarded planes and were redeployed to different parts of the country, while people like us have to take off our shoes and go through this whole drama and show our ID. So yes, this has taken place and continues to take place as the government tries to disperse the people.
Irene Garcia, we will have to leave it there. Irene Garcia of Judicial Watch doing the reporting that so many reporters refuse to do. A Newsmax Now update is next.